All right, good day, everybody. This is Emar Substitute, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Inquirer Show. We're recording on April 12th, 2021. Hope all is well out there in the world for you. We have a full show for you today. We're going to start off with the original free kick and recap Atlanta United's win over LD Alajuelense last week in the Concacaf Champions League. I have some thoughts on their performance and preparations for their upcoming second leg tomorrow on April 13th. We'll recap the Math Masters in the Miscellaneous Department and talk about a major blown call on a nationally televised baseball game, which could be a literal game changer in the world of Major League Baseball. And then we'll transition and wrap up the show with our highlighted interview in the technical state of Georgia athletics. We'll have our interview with Michelle Collier, head coach of Georgia Tech Volleyball, as they prepare for their first round NCAA Tournament game on April 14th. So we'll play that interview for you and give you some good content there. As always, if you want to follow everything that we're doing, head to the mothership, to sportsinquirer.net. You can go there and find out everything that we're doing. You'll see this week, really later on today, we're going to record our podcast, the Verbal Submission, where we discuss the world of professional wrestling and mixed martial arts. And it's a special episode because it will be our WrestleMania recap. So if you're into professional wrestling, I have all the notes on that and what happened with WrestleMania over the past few days. Also, the NXT show, which is another professional wrestling organization, that all took place over the past few days. So WrestleMania obviously is the biggest event in professional wrestling every year, and took place this weekend. So I'll have that show up later on today. So make sure you check that out. You could go to our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under Sports Inquirer. That's all one word. And then finally, subscribe to us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and wherever you get your audio and video content. Just do a search for us there, and you will find our site and subscribe to us, like us, listen, all that stuff. We would greatly appreciate that. Yeah, we'll start off the show with the free kick in Atlanta United and their win over Alajuelense in Costa Rica last week. We haven't recapped that match since our last show, so we'll do it now. So as I mentioned, Atlanta was able to win their first leg in the round of 16 in the Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League over LD Alajuelense 1-0 last Tuesday. Big highlights from the match or things to discuss. Ezekiel Barco scored the club's first goal of the season in the second half, and that goal was the big factor in the victory. It was also the first win for new manager Gabriel Heinze for Atlanta United. So he won his color debut with the team. The victory actually snapped Alajuelense's 25-match unbeaten streak, which dated back to November of 2020. Before we get to the specifics of the contest, here is manager Gabriel Heinze on the victory.
Si la palabra sorprendido, no. Estaba con mucha ilusión que puedan mis jugadores que luchen por este club, pero sorprendido nada.
I'm not surprised at all. I think our players fought till the end of the game, and it's not a surprise for us.
Obviously, a big turning point of the contest was the Atlanta being reduced to 10 men after Brad Guzan was shown a red card in the 43rd minute of the contest. He took down Alajuelense player Marcel Hernandez in a 1-1 situation just outside the 18-yard box. Took him down when he was going for the ball off after a missed pass by Barco. He took down the Alajuelense player, and he was given the red card. Here's Anton Walkes, player for Atlanta United, on that red card.
No, it's just to everyone. Those things happen, but unfortunately, we wasn't there to cover, which, we'll look back over, we'll see what we could do different. And, we're trying to play football, so mistakes are going to happen. So, again, it's very unfortunate, but errors will happen this season, and it's just about reacting to them. Yeah, we got caught open. And again, it happened and they didn't score from it. So we'll find a way to make sure, if there's mistakes, there's people behind to put the fire out, because we don't want anything like that happening, especially being a man down. Made the game very hard after that.
And Rocco Rios Nova, a goalkeeper for Atlanta United 2, who signed a short-term agreement literally the day before, replaced Guzan and made his first team debut. Before we get to Rocco's highlights, here was the goal that took place, or goal that gave Atlanta the lead. In the 48th minute, Barco played a ball to George Bello down the left side of the box and was looking for the return pass. And during that pass, it was the ball was hit by the outstretched arms of Alajuelense defender Jose Salrita, and the ball, it was a handball in the penalty area. And Barco did take the penalty shot in the 50th minute, converted it, and Atlanta had the 1-0 lead and were able to hold on to that margin for the victory. And as I mentioned, Rocco Rios Nova, who's been training with the team over the past few weeks, and he served as a second goalkeeper. I say he signed a short-term agreement. That means he was eligible to play for the team. He came into the contest, and the dual national Argentinian made 6 saves in the second half, helped preserve a clean sheet for Atlanta. Now, those 6 saves is actually a Atlanta single match record in Champions League play. He came in, made crucial saves, major clearances, and for a man who was making his debut with the team, had a really strong performance. Here is Rocco on entering the contest.
Bueno, primero que nada, mucha felicidad por mí, un momento que va a ser inolvidable. Estoy muy agradecido a todos mis compañeros que me apoyaron cada minuto del partido, a mi familia, a mi novia, que estuvieron todos apoyándome desde Argentina, así que nada, mucha felicidad.
Well, I just felt a lot of happiness. It's a moment that I'll never forget, and I just want to thank all my teammates for supporting me in every moment, my girlfriend, and also my family who are supporting me from Argentina. I was happy.
And a quick follow-up is Rocco getting the win in his team debut.
Y la verdad que es una victoria muy importante por la situación que tuvimos de la expulsión, de jugar todo el segundo tiempo con uno menos. La verdad que fue un partido muy, muy duro, muy duro. Los chicos no hay nada que reprocharles, dejaron la vida en la cancha. Así que nada, yo creo que hicimos lo que tuvimos que hacer.
Well, it was a very difficult game for all the circumstances of the game, going down a player in the first half and having to play the whole second half down a man. But I think the team had no other option than to come together like that, and it was a difficult game.
And as I mentioned, Rocco made major saves through the contest and really controlled the back line for Atlanta. Here is manager Gabriel Heinze on Rocco's performance.
Nada, que lo disfrute, que esperó su momento. Es un chico que todavía no jugó en primera división, pero a nosotros nos gustó, y que pase lo que pase, no me iba a cambiar la opinión de él.
Well, what I told to Rocco is that he should enjoy. It was his moment. He did not even play one game in first division, but it would not change my mind to put him today on the field.
So in addition to Rios Novo's first time playing with the team, we also saw several other club debuts for Atlanta United, including Santiago Sosa, Franco Ibarra, and Leandro Lopez. And all those guys actually started in the contest, and it was their first matches with Atlanta. Here is Heinze on the team effort and the victory.
Sí, la verdad que han hecho un trabajo muy importante en la personalidad que pudo sostener al equipo, en todo lo que es duelos individuales, que un defensor eso lo debe ganar. Entonces me pongo muy contento por ellos, porque han trabajado muchísimo esto, y eso es para el equipo y para el grupo muy bueno, ¿no?
I'm very happy with the work they did. I think they show a very good personality during the game. I think also something very important is how all the challenge they have in 1v1s, something that they have been working, and it put me very happy, and I think it's good for them, but also it's very good for the group.
Another fun moment for Atlanta's perspective in the contest was the return of MLS MVP, all first teamer, really the most valuable player on the team, striker Joseph Martinez. He made his long-awaited return to the field since his season-ending injury in February of 2020, and he was a substitute for Lopez in the 67th minute. So that was a big moment for Atlanta to get him back on the field. But really, just solid effort overall for Atlanta getting that victory. And it's very interesting because you saw a lot of success with MLS teams on the road in this first leg. We saw Atlanta earn a victory, Philadelphia get a win, Toronto and Columbus, the defending MLS champions. They were able to get a win on the road as well. But just very good first leg of action for MLS teams. But once again, bringing it all back circle it back to the beginning. Big win for Gabriel Heinze. We saw a lot of interplay with the team, with Atlanta United. Some defensive issues, which is expected, especially on the right side with Bello and Walkes, those guys trying to work out their synergy. On our show tomorrow, when we preview the actual second leg of the contest against LD Alajuelense, we'll go into greater depth about those defensive adjustments that the team is trying to make overall. But we'll conclude the Atlanta United or free kick portion of our show with Walkes on Gabriel Heinze and what he's meant to the team so far.
So far, I feel I've learned a lot just by the small details he's added. I keep saying it to everybody whenever I get asked this about how good he is. I think his attention to details and the small things being the priority first, I think it's what has helped us improve and, helped us grind at that performance. He's helped motivate the lads, which has been a vital part. And again, not only as a coach, but as a player, he had a ton of experience and he played under some of the best coaches as well. And to have that type of person mentoring you and giving you experiences from what he experienced while playing, I think that's been a very good and important thing for us as well in terms of our development.
So as I said, we'll keep track of Atlanta United as they continue to make their run through the Champions League and when they start their MLS regular season. All right, let's transition to the miscellaneous department of the show and talk about some things just around the world of sports. The Masters took place this weekend, and before we get to the actual specifics of the Masters and what happened this weekend, it was good having it back during a normal time. Obviously, we saw last year it was in the fall. It was delayed due to the COVID-19 and pandemic and everything like that. So we had a fall Masters, which was unique in its own way. But we're used to seeing the Masters early part of April, and it's really the one tournament. It's weird. I get into that one and then the British Open as far as the golf tournaments. I mean, I watched the players and I watched the Tour Championship and obviously the U.S. Open, and they all have their unique aspects to it. But I like the British Open because it's the other part of the world for me, being based here in the United States. It's earlier start time in the morning, so it's just different. And then the Masters. I like the visuals. I'm not a big golfer. I think I've never been golfing before as far as like going on a course and everything like that. But I like seeing grass and nature and stuff like that. So I actually I like seeing the cut of the grass and the bunkers and the layout of the field and everything like that. But and then it is tradition like no other. It's just a very unique setting, especially for sports, to have the Masters going on. So I was glad to see it taking place during its normal time. Consistent win by Hideki Matsuyama. The thing about it is that when I think they were hurt in several ways as far as the final round or final two rounds. When Hideki really took control of the Masters in the third round, and yes, I know he hit the ball in the water yesterday in the fourth round, and the lead got down to about one or two strokes, but he was in control of that contest throughout. So I think when you have something like that happens, when Now, Justin Rose came out the first 2 rounds and was brilliant and had a pretty solid lead, and he couldn't keep it up. But when you have a guy come in and lead it in the third, take the big control in the third round, and then there's no drama in the fourth, it does lead to less drama and I think less excitement with it. And and no disrespect to Hideki, he's been a pro golf for a long time. He was an amateur champion there. I guess he had the lowest round for an amateur a few years ago at the Masters. So he's a known guy. And it was for the first Japanese Masters champion. It's a very big moment for that country and everything like that. But we're used to seeing that he's not a name known guy like the Justins, the Justin Thomas and Dustin Johnson and even Rory McIlroy or Jordan Spieth or Brooks Koepka, who's dealing with injury. Not a guy that we're used to seeing at the top of the leaderboard. That is even a Bryson DeChambeau, who is a very polarizing figure with his long drives and I don't want to say disrespect the putting and the short game, but his approach to the game is very polarizing to golf fans. None of those guys were really in the running for the championship late in the competition. And when you have a lack of star power in that, it really hurts. And that's not even including the all-time legendary guys like the Phil Mickelsons and Tiger Woods that we've been seeing for really decades now near the top of the leaderboard. When those guys aren't even involved, that's tough to see, or for a lot of people. So I think the juice was lacking in the Masters towards the final 2 rounds. And that's what I've seen the vibe of a lot of people. And just looking at when we're doing our notes and just watching other sports programs, lead stories is more about the Lakers and the Nets. That game took place Saturday night. Even more football discussion. Masters really, and we'll get to the blown call at the Braves and Phillies game in a few minutes. It seemed like the Masters was not the lead story, and I think all those factors I mentioned was the main reason for that. But it was still good to see the Masters, as I said, taking place during the normal spring season. And we'll be keeping track of golf as it continues on. But yeah, let's get to the blown call with the Braves and Phillies last night. If you're watching the game like many of us were, late in the contest, eighth inning, score tied. There was Braves were on. It was Braves and Phillies. Fly ball to left field. Marcelo Zuna, the Braves left fielder, catches the ball. Sac fly attempt. Bohr goes goes in to score. Good throw by Zuna. Goes to Darno, the catcher of the Braves. He catches the ball, blocks the plate, and blocks the slide of Bohr to score. He he blocks the plate. The slide goes wide, and he's called safe. Obviously, not a good call by the umpire. You see the replays. He Bohr clearly did not touch the plate. Darno has the ball in his possession. He tags him. So you speed a replay and you expect it to be reversed, called and out, scored still tied, going into the next inning. Well, they did the replay, and he was still called safe, and Twitter blew up. While I was tweeting about WrestleMania and the championship matches, and I won't go into my wrestling details because if you never follow wrestling, I'm gonna start naming people. And you're like, who's this guy? Who's that guy? But I was very focused on that, but also just the from all walks of life. Obviously, we're based in Atlanta, so a lot of people that we follow, or a good amount, are Atlanta-based sports fans and non-sports fans, and that was a big topic. But seeing national reporters and players make comments on it, from Mike Trout to Justin Turner, non players in the game, all with the same conclusion of, and I agreed with it as well. What is the point of instant replay if you're not going to be able to reverse calls like that? I mean, it was pretty obvious he did not touch the bag. He was blocked. He was out. Umpires make mistakes, and obviously he shouldn't have made that mistake because I thought it was a pretty clear call. It was the umpire should have been in position to see that. But as human error, it happens. But the point of replay is to correct that. And obviously that call was made, and sure, the Braves still had a chance to go up to bat with a chance to tie the game. So it wasn't the last play of the game, but in that situation, that's a very bad deal, for the Braves and a bad break in that regard. And what does this mean? When you have this type of situation where that was a nationally watched game between two very strong teams, one has World Series aspirations in the Braves, I believe. Phillies are off to an okay start themselves, and it's a big market, and they have dreams as well. But point is, the entire baseball world was watching that contest, and for that to happen on that stage, it's just not a good look. Now, I don't know what more you can really do with it. Replay is there; they have the ability to reverse calls and make changes, and they did not. I don't know where the discrepancy was. I will say, and I know more about replay in football, where they'll say if you have to have indisputable evidence to reverse a call that's made on the field, and that's a fair point. But I didn't see any. It's like a jury. It's like in real life in court. If there's any shadow of doubt, or if you're going to charge someone guilty, you can't, without if there's reasonable doubt, you can't charge someone as guilty. And I'm just in layman's terms. I just don't see how you can look at that play and not say that it was, he was safe. At any angle, any perspective, I just didn't get it. So I just said I don't know what more could be done as far as changing the rules or reversing things like that. But yeah, that was just a very bad situation, and I guess the rule has to be interpreted better. That's what I'm trying to say as far as using replay. All right, let's conclude the show with the technical state of Georgia athletics and our focus interview or profile on today's show, and it's going to be on Georgia Tech volleyball. The team was selected for the women's volleyball championship tournament for the 10th time in program history and a first time since 2009. Georgia Tech they were ranked as high as number 8 in the nation this season, and they capped off the regular season with a 3-1 win over Duke last week and are 13-4 in the season overall. We were able to speak with Georgia Tech head coach Michelle Collier for an exclusive interview and about the tournament, about the season so far, and the progression of the program under her tenure. Here's our interview with Coach Collier. All right, good everybody. This is Emar Selpertooth, the Sports Inquirer, and we are happy to be joined by Michelle Collier, the head coach of Georgia Tech volleyball. The team has been selected to the NCAA Tournament. First of all, Coach, congratulations on the selection. And we've spoken many times over the years about the building of this program and what you want to see accomplished. What does this mean for you to finally reach this benchmark for Georgia Tech volleyball on a personal level and just for the program in general?
Yeah, I mean, definitely very excited about our accomplishment. I think it's reassuring of the work that we have been doing for the past 6 years here. I think that it's when I first got here, I understood the potential of this program, and I've seen it when I was in college. We played against Georgia Tech, so I understood what Georgia Tech was able to do on a national level. And my goal was to be able to bring our program back to that level and to be able to compete for championships and be back in the tournament. So it's great to see that vision kind of come through. But we also understand it's only the beginning. There's a lot of work ahead of us to continue to build this program, to continue to keep getting better. But just happy, excited to see all the little things that we've been working for kind of just come to reality.
We spoke last year, not around this time, but after the regular season, and the team was not selected for the NCAA tournament. And that was a tough interview even for me to do because you looked at the and I'll say it now, it's a year later. You should have been in the NCAA tournament, and the qualifications were there, but you weren't selected. You were able to turn down a round and still win a national championship in another tournament. But what did you take from last year's experience and not making NCAAs and having to go through that adversity that you were able to kind of carry over into this campaign?
Yeah, I mean, we just need to, we had to keep doing what we were doing. We had to keep getting better. I think that we wanted to really be in control a little bit about our destiny and just kind of put ourselves in a stronger position and to be able to do this with only 48 teams getting in. I think that we definitely did that. You know, we put ourselves in the conversation again. I think that the way we finished last year and how we took advantage of just the extra matches that we played, we competed at a high level at the NIVC and being able to win a national championship there really was able to, you know, continue to build and the foundation for the things that we wanted to do. And we just kept working. I mean, we kept our heads up high and focused on the things that we needed to do to keep getting better.
Yeah, and this year has been unique with the separate fall season, and then transitioning to the spring. Just what's to say about the team being able to deal with that adjustment and really having an extended season and having to quarantine and go through all of these obstacles to find your way in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think we just kept hammering on the positive, you know, the things that we did get to do and experience instead of what we didn't get to do or what was different. We understand that physically, mentally, it's a long season for players, for staff, for everybody, because we're constantly trying to compete and get better. And there's a higher level of intensity that you have to operate on when you're in season. You know, to be able to get ready for opponents, to, you know, hey, we got to fix this, or we have to deal with a lot of injuries that, you know, we hadn't had to go through that over in the past couple of years. You know, so there were a lot of uncontrollable things that we really had to learn how to manage and make the most out of it. And I think that our players and our staff really continue to focus on the team and how do we play together, we get better together, we work through these things together. You know, and we were able to really find positive responses to those situations. So definitely proud of the way that we embraced this whole scenario and what we were able to do with it.
Yeah, since we last spoke, you've had several players recognized by the ACC, starting with Mariana Brambilla and Julia Bergman, first team all ACC performers. What about their evolution? And they're not even seniors. One's Mariana is a junior and Julia is a sophomore. Just what about those players' development and reaching all conference honors at such an early age in their career?
Yeah, I mean, very well deserving. I agree. They got unanimously voted for first team. So I think that, you know, all the coaches that really are in tune with the game, understand how special they are. You know, but I think the biggest thing is they work really hard. They love the game. They're volleyball fanatics. They're always in the gym trying to get better. They're always watching. You know, and these are the type of players that you want in your program as you grow in and really becoming a top 25 solidified program there and nationally. Is you really have to love the game and have a desire to be the best that you can at it, and put in the work and put in the extra work. And I think that Mario and Julia have done that. It hasn't been easy for them throughout this process. You know, they went home, they had to quarantine in Mexico, they had to get here, they didn't go home for Christmas, but they stayed just, again, focused on the right things, and they wanted to be here, they wanted to work hard for this team. You know, and I'm grateful that they're putting in all this work, and I'm happy to see that it's being recognized not only within our team and in our program, but beyond that. So very well deserving.
You mentioned dealing with injuries, and Maddie McKissick has had to work through injuries herself this year, but she still was named second team all conference and led the team in assists. What about her working through those injuries and still being able to be a solid contributor to the team and being recognized by the conference?
Yeah, I mean, I think Matt had a great fall, and she was, the spring was a little bit bumpy. She had to kind of navigate through some things, but I think that she stayed focused, and I also think that Bella um, has done a great job helping our team and helping her um, kind of be able to, take some pressure off of her and allow her to recover um, in a healthy way to be able to come back and really sustain, not having to really kind of try to play through some pain and things like that. We were we were able to really take care of her, make sure that she was coming back in a healthy manner, and that we were really taking care of that so that that stuff wouldn't linger for the rest of her career. And I think that having somebody like Bella in that other position who stepped up and really continued to lead us in a very high level was awesome. And Matt has worked really, really hard to earn the respect from every coach in our conference, and the things that she does on the court. She's a great leader for our team, and when she's at her best, we're a really hard team to beat. So I was happy that she was able to manage going through injuries. I was a player, and I know that it's not easy to really understand and navigate. You want to be on the court, you want to be playing, but she really did a great job of just working hard and kind of putting herself in the best situation possible. And she's back playing. She played some great matches here towards the end of the spring, and it's hopefully that will continue to carry over. And also just grateful for Bella and all her leave at such a young age to be put on the spot like that. And it's not always easy to replace a setter of the year. So I think that she was able to do that and at a very high level. And so I'm excited for the future, and I'm very proud of how we managed that during this time now.
Now you have to make more adjustments with the NCAA tournament. Before we get specifically to the Lipscomb contest, what is that going to be like being in Nebraska? We've seen some other NCAA tournaments that have been in this kind of bubble scenario. Uh, how have you prepared for just that type of situation, being in isolation, being in that type of environment, just from a coach perspective and just preparing your players for it?
Yeah. Nebraska has always a special place in my heart. I was an exchange student in high school, and I lived with a family in a small town in Nebraska for a year, and I was really able to make some great friends. So I know that the people there are amazing. They're great volleyball fans. It's a fun atmosphere to be a part of. I think that the NCAA did a good job picking the spot where the volleyball was going to happen, because their fans are just really super cool. They love the game. And I know that they're gonna appreciate every team that's there competing. So I think that that's going to be really exciting. I think that the ACC throughout this season has helped us play a couple neutral matches and get used to some neutral courts here, back-to-back matches. So those are all very similar things that we're going to see at a tournament. So I think that we'll be ready for it. I mean, we're working every day to keep getting better on these last couple of days here, and then to get ready for a great team here with Lipscomb, and give them our best shot.
Yeah, Lipscomb, they won the Atlantic Sun Conference tournament. They are only one loss, no, two losses this year, 17-2. What have you seen from them? And it's kind of tough because there's no non-conference action from your end, and they played only a handful of games or matches. How's preparations going for Lipscomb, and what have you seen from them, from the Bisons, just looking at their video?
Yeah, I mean, a team that's going to be hard to beat. I mean, they have four players. They have a very well balanced offense. If you look at the national stats, they're in the top 25 in a lot of the national stats offensively. Serving, they're a tough serving team. Really, a team that has. They're not very one-dimensional. They have four players right now that are with three or more kills per set, and just knowing Brendan, their head coach, and the job that he has done over there. A lot of respect for what he has done, and I know that he's going to be ready to play us. So it's not going to be an easy match at all. I don't think any NCAA championship match is an easy match. And I think that we have a lot of respect for their program and what they're doing. And at the same time, we're focusing on us and trying to keep getting better. And then, later in the week, we'll start kind of digesting their team and what we need to do to be prepared for that match.
Yeah, and lastly, how do you balance that? You want the players to be excited to be in the NCAA tournament, but as you mentioned, you still have business to take care of. Do you let them kind of have these few days to appreciate making the tournament and embracing that? And now you said later on in the week and then you get down to Nebraska, is that when you really want to focus on? Or we still have a task to win some matches and make a run?
Oh no, we were focusing on that Monday morning. So it's been a long time coming here. I think that these players worked and invested really, really a lot into giving themselves this opportunity. They earned it, and I think that they're excited to get out there. But we got to keep getting better. We got this is one part of our goal. We got to continue to move forward towards the visions and the things that we want to do with our culture, with our program. And so we were definitely taking advantage of the opportunity here to compete at this level. But yeah, we had to, get going on Monday. And we've been working really, really hard. We haven't taken our foot off the gas. Obviously, we got to balance. It's the end of the season. It's been a long season. But I think that they enjoy just getting better, and they're looking forward to the experience. So I'm super excited for them.
Did you at least give them Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening? I saw the video. Everyone was celebrating in the house. Did you at least give them that evening to be excited for it?
Yes, they had Sunday, and we'll have a couple days off until we get there. But they got to take care of their bodies and their minds, and really make sure that when we're in the court as volleyball is getting better, and then we're off the court, they can disconnect and they can enjoy the experience. And so I think that it's just learning how to balance that. And I think that they know how our staff works. And I think that they're responding well to these things that we're asking of them.
All right, we thank Michelle for speaking with us and about the team and all things related to the Yellow Jackets. We'll do another profile tomorrow with the junior setter, Maddie McKissick, about the team and being in the NCAA tournament. And we look forward to speaking with her and hearing what she has to say. And that concludes today's show. Thanks for listening to our broadcast. And as always, if you want to follow everything that we're doing, you can head to thesportsinquirer.net, or you can head to our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And finally, subscribe to us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcast, and iTunes. Until next time, good fight, good night, be safe.